Not exactly what you are, correct? It's opposite. It's like,
I guess so. I guess you're right.
so you never really see
Who you really are.
who you really are.
This is life.
So what is the point?
So who are you really in this regard? This you that you're resuming, that you're going back to.
Back to? One never
Yeah.
goes back.
No, you had 15 years of doing this.
Well,
And
being
it-
with kids and everything.
Huh?
Being with kids?
Yeah,
Not
like
life?
creations. What we were talking about last night.
Yeah, but now I'm taking that to a different place. Now I'm going to take that and... Where am I going to take that?
That's what I want to know.
Well, you can never go back. That's why old loves, often you try to rekindle it. You can never go back to what it was. You can only remember the feeling and take it with you. So what I can do is take with me the experience of creations and the experience of 1774 and all the other wonderful things that happen in my life and go forward, because I'm not the same.
Right. So the you are now, what does it want to do?
Me,
What wants to happen?
Oh,
What's this Russia thing all about? What's going on? How is it an extension of what has been? How did you make the connection?
well, it's intertwined with what Brian is doing and the opportunity to travel, and then he and I working on a project together because he feels that that it's very important in terms of our relationship not to go off in different directions, which is very, very possible because he is so incredibly busy and very involved in his work, from suicide prevention to ethics committees, to his teaching, to a number of other things that he does. And we haven't really ever been involved, other than when we met. He trained me for suicide action, and that was when we met, in a sense, in a working situation. And so that was a little project, even though it wasn't something, but there was a collaboration.
Just surprised. The diner appeared behind your face. What?
Combine that with with the opportunity to go away for a year anywhere we wanted, and the people we've met through his work, my radio program happens to be airing in several countries. We can combine all that and then look at a project we could do together. Now, after a 6-7 year hiatus from working directly with young people, realizing how much how important that was to me, and how important the impact I've had on these young lives, as well as vice versa, their impact on me. And I don't want to go back and repeat or try to start another creations. What I want to do is take the other 6 years of my life with all its diversity and
Theater, you mean 1774?
theater and my interpersonal relationships, my marriage, having my own child, what I've learned in the last 6-7 years, take all of that and go forward. And I think that the theater, although a totally different experience than what I'm about to do, is to move into television and perhaps radio as well, and just combine those the quality
This is
of
really
my life.
vague. What is it you want to make happen here? What does that mean you want to work with kids? Does it mean you want to start a big group? What form might this take? Or is it just
As
you
a
walk in and
television
see?
show. A television show that reflects the concerns and ideas and talents of young people. But how it's done comes from them. So I'm going to go around to these countries and meet kids and talk to them, and through improv and play building and discussion and argument and using other examples of TV shows, is create a program that is inspired, in a sense, by young people, and that, along with myself, and that speaks to them and speaks to adults. How it's going to turn out, I don't exactly know. I have some ideas on a format I think would be interesting, but that may not be in tune with what young people in Europe or the East are into right now. So, it's a question of what comes out of that research, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's all about.
I understand. Now, when did you first, the philosophy, or what do you want to call it, was going on in creations? When did you first find that you had a belief system? It doesn't matter when, but I'm just trying to...
A what system?
Belief system. You had a personal belief system where you thought
very
something
young
was
age.
true.
Yeah.
And then there was a process of realizing that and manifesting that in the world, in the face of the traditional belief systems of the theater about, top down.
In Spain when I was 6.
Really?
I'll never forget the impact of being in Spain. When I was about 6 or 7. I think I was about 6. And my 3 brothers and I and my mother, we were in Madrid. We got out of a car, and all of a sudden we were rushed by all these young children. A rush of children, like 50 kids out of nowhere just came and started clawing at us for food or money. I mean, it was the most powerful experience that I recognized from my young eyes at that time, that there was great injustice in this world, and that even though I didn't come from money, and you know people who had a lot more than I did, I mean, to have to rush at a tourist, at little children, and beg, children begging other children, was overwhelming. It was at the young age that I realized that this world needs a lot of help. It's a very sick world. And that these poor children will never have the opportunities I have. So how can I do something? And that's when I started thinking that the theater, because I was already dancing and doing a bit of theater, at that young age, and play acting and that kind of thing, working with my father. But it was at a very young age that I realized that maybe the Peters of the world, my brother, maybe these poor kids in Spain, and God knows what else is going on in the world, maybe if I did something where they would have a platform to talk about what their concerns were, or what was ailing them, or what have you, maybe we'd find some answers together, but by using theater, music, and dance as a means of expressing it to other people. So it's not that all gelled in my head at that tender age of 6, but that was the seed. And secondly, I also later realized that something was terribly wrong with the educational system, and that's why my brother was such a mess. Regardless of, he wasn't born into the right family, but, if he chose his parents, there's a reason for it, I guess. But I thought that there are too many Peters in this world who slip through the cracks, and that generally the towns, the cities, the neighbors, no one's really taking responsibility for it. So I thought again that creations, or this idea that I had, I didn't know it was going to be called creations, and working with kids, that would be another way of the kids who fall through the cracks, that they would have this opportunity. So that was another thing. And then when I was about 11, I was in Brownies, and they decided to put all these deaf and dumb children in with us. And my mother got this call, because I was not really into Brownies, it wasn't my cup of tea, tying knots and, that kind of shit, keeping your room clean. Honestly, there are bigger things to worry about. But I remember I came home one day, and I was also in this play at the time. I was very, very busy, and she said that the Brownies people had called because they say that you're the person that could really help integrate these other children, and that they would automatically make me a 6er if I would go back, so I didn't have to do the knots. Yeah. The way you get around things. I got into university without doing my 13th grade instead of my 12th. It's amazing how I skipped courses at schools. Skipped grades is what I was trying to say. All because of life experience. So, there you have it. So now, all of that, plus everything that I live now, is still part of me, and that's what I'm going to take on with me. So there's all these reasons, also for my own child and the children who now have grown up in my life, like Joanne and Mark and others, who are going to have children, and and it just goes on. And we each take a part of that with us, and that's what I loved about that song, One More Ride. Take it with you as you grow. It's just it's simple. It's simple. It's so clear. If people could remember and go back and say whether it was a bad experience or a good experience or a joyous or a sad, death, dying, all the stuff that Brian's so involved in, we can learn so much from it, which doesn't mean to say that there's not going to be any more pain and any more grieving, but it helps you work things through. Very, very important stuff. Now, I have no idea. I think it's the other side. National Year of the Child. I was at university. Thought I was going into law. I was 20. Well, it started in 78, the idea, because I knew International Year of the Child was going to be 79. So I was 23 24. It was officially incorporated when I was 24. And here I was studying these law courses and everything, and I thought, you know, I was going to become this big, important lawyer, and all my clients would be kids, and I don't know, I had all these ideas about how I was going to change the educational system, and change the legal system, and all that kind of stuff. And then I remember it was Francois, you know, who you met, my lawyer, who said, Claire, you stay 7 years of law school, it's going to change you. Just go out and do what it is you want to do. So I combined the passion for social justice with my artistic background and experience, and I went off to all these sort of multicultural schools, you know, in the Plateau area and stuff, and talked to all these kids and said, it's International Year of the Child, what do you think that means, what should be happening? And there was like all this money being given, you know how they do that, each country says we're going to give so much money, and then it breaks down to province or state or what have you. It's all so stupid. Anyway, they were all giving money to a lot of adults to do research or write about kids, but what money was being given in a very hands-on way to kids to say something about themselves. So I didn't get any money from the granting agencies, but that's when I decided that why don't we start a company that truly reflects what kids are thinking about and how they feel, in particular about the International Year of the Child. Talk about perfect choice of streets. It's right here. Is this person leaving? Do I go in front of them? What are they doing? So that's how it was called originally Children's Creations. That's how it started. And I thought, you know, it would just be 1 year, we'll do this big show, which out of that show came the show again and another theater a year later and an album, a 45. All these things happened with that one show. And here were all these kids and all these possibilities. And I just kept going on and on and on. And next thing I knew, 10 years later, I said, Jesus, I gotta stop doing this, right? God. We have a show opening. We have a show opening on Friday. It's just totally overwhelming, the work that goes into putting on a show. It was a great experience to do it, but it's not the same thing as putting on a show with the kids, you know, it's really not.
What was the classic corruption that happened each of those 3 times? The classic thing where you start out, what I said, because about the business where you start working for the people and you wind up becoming the enemy, so to speak, becoming the very thing which you're trying to, you know.
Well, not so much with Marianne, no, it's just, it was a different situation altogether. It wasn't my vision, it wasn't my passion, and she has a temperament that's, you know, nobody can, she's very, very difficult to work with. She's not a collaborator, she's a writer. She's always basically done everything on her own, and she's still, you know, very difficult to work with. A lot of people find that. She's not the most popular person in the world. But, you know, she's an intelligent woman, and she has talent, and I respect her. But I'm one of these people who unfortunately, I don't see that I'm not getting anything out of something. I'm more concerned about making sure other people are happening and going somewhere. I always kind of feel I'll take care of myself later, you know. I mean, not in everything, but in that kind of thing. And so year in and year out, I kept thinking, well, eventually I'll do something for myself here, or I'll you know, be more specific. And Marianne, you know, she knew, this is where the show is, by the way. It's Julie, that's where they are right now, everybody in there, trying to get the setup. I kept thinking that it would dawn on me one day why I'm doing this. And what really dawned on me was that I find myself in situations where I don't know when to just quit and stop and take something and move on and do something else. I tend to get, you know, all caught up in it and
Instituted?
And instituted, yeah. And I really love a lot of the people I was working with, and that, you know, you just get used to it, and you get used to not having money, you get used to begging, you get used to being the underdog, you just get used to all of that. And so here I was in a privileged situation for 3 years, really 3.5 years being with Brian and not taking advantage of it. And I saw what it was doing because I was with Sarah and Brian and then Sophie. I had a different perspective of what it was doing to me. Before I was single, I lived alone. So everything went into it. I'm a workaholic. I mean, like Michael, I just work. And when he gets more money, the more he works. I know. Minor detail. But I wasn't loving it. That was the difference. You see, with creations, I was completely consumed by it, and it was consumed by me. It was being consumed by me. I mean, it was one was in the same. And you can see from the little bits of the video and stuff that how important it was. Where in 1774, it wasn't that. It was me providing platforms for other people, a lot of them very messed up, didn't know what they were doing, some of them not very talented at all. And I became the person, sort of like the professional stage manager, just making everything possible for them. And yet I was asked, I was given, and I could have taken an opportunity to really do something and express myself, but I think I instinctively knew, without being able to articulate it, I knew why I was blocked, and that's because I didn't want this platform. This wasn't my platform. I mean, a simple analogy would be you drive a car, right, and someone puts you in the cockpit of a plane, and you sort of know how to steer, but it's totally foreign to you. And I remember why, at a very young age, at 19, I said to my father, I will never perform again. I don't want anything to do with this world. And that's why, creations and all, so it meant I didn't want anything to do with that world, that fucked up world of the down and outs, the people who are so self-absorbed, so full of themselves, that yeah, maybe they're great actors, but they're so messed up, and at a basic grassroots level. They're just so, and malicious and conniving and they want to make it. It's get out of their way. It's just nonsense. I realized I don't want to be like that. That's what I knew at 19, but I didn't think of that when I went back and when I went into starting 1774. It didn't hit me that I left that world for a reason, and I didn't because of other things that were going on in my head and my low self-esteem and everything. It didn't click until finally, after a year or so with Brian, that I don't need this shit. I left this for a reason. It hasn't changed, and I don't know if it ever will. And that, I think, is in a way a great contradiction about artists, and the great tragedy about art, is that it is supposed to be a reflection of what's going on. And you think the people in the world, right, in your environment and so forth, you'd think that the people who are making all that happen would be the people you'd really want to spend time with, but it's quite the reverse. It's quite the reverse, because they are so self-absorbed. They're not generous people, for the most part. And because, too, I understand, having, gone back and been an actress and everything, you're constantly giving every little tiny crevice of yourself over to strangers, and it's exhausting. But you get addicted to needing this applause or reassurance in a very perverse kind of way. And when you don't get it, or when you've had a bad performance, sometimes you just start blaming everything around you. You're blaming somebody else. Why is it happening? It's because you are constantly. I mean, imagine if you had a different husband every night that you were making love to, and he wasn't having an orgasm or something. I don't know. It's very frustrating, because you are giving and giving and giving and giving the most personal stuff. So I guess maybe that's partly why they're so bloody messed up. But Jesus, I could do without, the sort of the run-of-the-mill artists. And there are run-of-the-mill artists. They have technique, they have training, but unhappy sods they are. So I thought with creations, that's why I kept it so separate from the professional milieu. I just didn't want the kids to go through that nonsense. Like, I saw it as a kid, being an actor and being in shows with adults and seeing how they do their numbers and everything. I witnessed that, so I didn't want creations kids to get into that trip, become little starlets and little vedettes and think that this is what it's about, just getting better for you as opposed to getting better for the art. And that's a fundamental difference. So that's why Creations was so fucking amazing. Saved a lot of lives, including mine. I was just a little slow, and I should have moved on after 7 years. And okay, a parking space. Is this guy taking this parking space? Because I'd like to take this parking space, but he's gonna take it. Okay. Well, I could go behind him. there's somebody behind me. You see, life is full of, I think what I'll do is go down the lane. This was another stupid thing. I was taking my flipping car to try and find a parking space to go to a place I abhorred, that actually was killing me. I mean, just stupid things like that. And I drive around 20 minutes trying to find a parking space. I'm wasting my time.
So, what are we going to 1774 now? You've left there, haven't
Yes,
you?
I know, but Marianne called and everybody's in production, and I understand that. They were shopping Friday, and they're in a mess over this grant that's due tomorrow. And she said, if it were possible for me just to come in and look at it and just sort of tighten it up. And so I had told her when I left, I'm like 5 blocks away. If I'm needed, I'll be there. I'm not like leaving the country. Look at this. I found a parking space. You see the little joys in life, and I don't have to pay. Get a ticket. But I don't blame Marianne for me leaving 1774.
She's just her and doing her
she's
thing.
she's doing
She's
her
not
thing,
retired.
and that's that. But
Aren't you gonna go cut?
what?
Aren't you gonna go cut?
And now he has this thing where it doesn't matter what it is, even if he gets $10, he has to get it. Because that's my job.
I'm professional.
And I mean, it was nice to get the video for Monday. I'm surprised we didn't fucking charge us with it. That tainted. And Paolo was so upset when Paolo was my door down. But now, Paolo gets tired of him going on about his success. He's forgotten who he was in many ways. So, I don't even know. Hi, my children. My sweethearts. Russell. Oh, I'm fine, sweetheart.
How are you?
Hi, Claude. Ah,
Hello.
this is Lee.
Hey, Claude.
Very good friend of Brian's. And
Hi there.
this is my old desk. And I'm sure my learned colleague has left me work. Look at these posters, eh?
Is it Miss Julie?
They didn't listen to me.
I know one fucking listens
They
to
didn't
it.
listen to me.
Yeah, well. Now, that was a great show. Woman by a window.
Yeah. I heard about that one actually.
That was a great show. You didn't see it though.
No, I didn't. I was probably too busy in school at that point.
So how are you? Well, let me give Lee a little tour. How are you, sweetheart? You still got a job?
Yeah.
I'll see ya.
Wow. So here are, this is Echo, first show. And then there was another La Fête too, but we didn't have a poster because we were very poor in those days. And then we had this little angel. And then we did another La Fête and another La Fête and Measure. And this is the movie, Breaking a Leg.
Oh, that was with you guys. That's why you thought it'd be good to see.
Well, yeah, because you get a real trip out of it. And this is our rehearsal studio. It's a lovely loft space. Of course, 90% of everything here I own. Yeah. This is our rehearsal space, which I think is the production space for Mrs. Truly. So you're sitting here on the main, and the other side is the mountain.
The Bane?
The main.
Oh yes, the Maine. Jody used to talk about the Maine.
And we found this place, actually, it was somebody else, and we found this place, and I talked him down to $600 a month for the whole floor. And then I talked to him, and then it was supposed to go up to 8, and then 11, and then the second year we went up to 8, that's fine. Then the third year I just said, could we just stay at 800 for 3 more years because we can't afford it? And so he said, okay. And Marianne would sit there like, good job. She believed that. So, I didn't want her to look like losing space. It's a great theater space.
Yes, isn't it?
So Russell, darling.
Oh.
Is there ready coffee for me?
Coffee,
You still have coffee here.
been there for a while, so I've been dealing with her.
turn the camera on. I could use a little future reference.
And perhaps a little coffee.
So is it all exciting right now?
It's, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm sort of out of the excitement loop because I'm here, you know.
Just downstairs. What is it, a few blocks away?
Yeah, the theater's down at the Monument National.
So are they all down there right now?
Pretty much everyone, yeah.
Going crazy, I bet.
I would imagine, yeah. I mean,
When does it open?
the premiere, the preview is Wednesday night, so
Oh.
it's soon. Exceptionally soon. New software.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, it's great to have, but
Hey, you want a cup of coffee?
Sure, I'll take care of it.
you know, with the old software, it doesn't really do much of anything.
You're low on milk, guys.
Yeah. Did you see my program design though? I did the layout.
Program.
Well, we're getting there. This is the cover and all the layout. It's
She's
quite-
not using the old covers?
They might go in as an insert. It's not done yet, but that's the idea. All on this. So.
Nice to have a little power, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Nice.
Well, if I'm not behind this computer, I'm behind the wheel of the car.
Making it happen out there on the streets, huh? Take it out into the world.
He had to go down to the Monument because we didn't have any signed checks, and we need some. Because, I mean, they're signed by Mary Ann, but not by Jeff. And he's not going to be here for the next couple of days. So.
Does look nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
Russ, I miss you.
We miss you too. You just missed Luke. He was here a while ago.
Understand what she has. Number of shows of before in here and outside. So we open to 11. What's wrong with this? Nobody versus. Oh, I see. There's different one. Nothing but this.
so I think it should be.
What a great idea,
Yeah.
vodka.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I figured since, Absolute Vodka is there.
That's true, yeah.
And so what Hilo is trying to do is also get, they're going to be trying to make something Swedish. Supposedly Score bars or Score chocolate
Mm-hmm.
is supposedly somewhat Swedish. So they're going to make Score mousses and Score chocolate cakes.
Oh.
So it should be quite
Wow.
decadent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds good to me.
That's for Saturday night?
That's right.
Oh, that's great. How do you know Marianne?
Actually, I met her through Alexandra McDougall, who was one of the people on her committee to sell tickets. And so she introduced me to Marianne, so I've been helping her out. Yes. And so now we just have to get people to commit to their tickets.
How much are they? Tickets?
50.
How many have you sold? How many have you sold?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
But quite a
Oh,
few
actually, I know 10 definitely were sold.
But didn't the board, the advisory board team some? Like,
people, like Donna and
Lillian
Sandra,
Fox.
Lillian Fox. Yeah.
Because last week when I called the committee, the people selling tickets, everyone was ready to commit at that point. So I hope to do follow-ups this afternoon and basically tell them I need the numbers for. So we'll make it-
140 tickets, right?
we're realistically looking at 80.
So 80. Nice. And everything sponsored.
But except for, well, yes, because the food is going to be about $400, but the Swedish Embassy is giving us $500 for the reception. So,
Nice. Is McCausland getting any beer?
I don't know.
yes, they are.
Oh, great.
So it should be a nice
Come on,
event.
man. Great. Wonderful. Steve, I told you it would go so well.
Yeah, we just get people there. That's the hard part.
Oh, I know. Oh, you still have my little name up here. How
Oh,
sweet.
it's really falls.
No.
We can fax you stuff for us.
Fax. I should get it.
I've been thinking I'd love to have a fax at home. Because faxes are so much less intrusive than phone calls.
All right. No more choice.
Yeah, doesn't change. No, the disc that I did the cash flow on,
Uh-huh.
all this would be so great. Could I do a print out?
Sure.
The old one?
This one's not so bad. Like, there are a few little glitches in it here and there. Yes. Hi. Not too bad. How are you? Oh my God. Oh, that's fabulous. Neat. Maybe a little later. I'm kind of like holding down the fort here right now. Yeah. Not too bad. Not too bad. How's it going for you? No, it's going fine, really. We got a show opening on Friday, so it's a little hectic. Yeah. 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 I'm happy to be working. Yeah. And he's in rehearsals.
What do you mean?
Something is screwed up.
Yeah. Yay. I know. It's out to lunch. It's a new one. It's with myself and this guy Derek and this guy Brett. Not this guy Toronto. Well, how long do you have for? Oh, I have to go see you.
So, my
Okay,
whole
well,
budget
maybe let's
has
marry
been,
after that. Let's try and run down. Yeah.
So the only
Yeah,
disc?
I'd love to.
there's someone went in and
Okay.
screwed around
Okay,
with
great.
it.
Okay.
Russ,
Yes.
someone's gone in and screwed around. Look what it says when I go into anything on this, on budget. Everyone I clicked open, look what it says. Son of a bitch. So my original cash flow that I did up until January 31st.
Oh, okay. No,
What is this?
that's it's not on your disk. It's on the computer.
You know what to do?
Yeah. This one's got it's got a personality all its own.
Well, that seems to be what happening over at the QDF actually.
It's happening, anyone I know, it's happening because of two parents and theirs with the same system as we have. It's just, I don't know, it's like temporary wild. Yeah, just go to print and it'll give you a message.
You got paper now? Just
Yeah.
plain
Yeah.
8:30 or?
Yeah. It'll take a minute because it has to figure out. Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking here, sketch.
And-
Looking for a laser. Right here. It's looking.
There you go.
And say,
Yeah, it just has to reinitialize to that,
Stroked.
to that computer. Yeah. Yeah. It's doing
So
its
are you
stuff.
gonna be down at the show tonight?
I don't know. No one's said specifically that I will be, but chances are, you know. Oh.
So, I see that Jeff decided to, you got all the GSTs for cute. Million gig thousand.
Yeah.
Whoa. This one. Sweetest and missing. How's PDE doing?
Well, according to Jeff, it was kind of strange for a while, but then like, they seem to be declining.
I don't see anything here from McCausland.
Maybe it has to be, yeah. Maybe he's like promised something and then, or maybe it's a sponsorship. Maybe he's giving like all the beer. Who knows?
This is where my handwriting stopped, so up
Yeah.
to the 27th of January.